Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I firstly want to say thank you to my new supporters and subscribers. Welcome so much to the show. I'm glad that you're here. I'll continue to share the truth and continue to fight for those that, well, can't really say too much. I think it is becoming rather telling in today's day and age when political prisoners such as Tommy Robinson, and yes, he is a political prisoner. And while some people may go, oh, but Jay, he breached the court rules, don't do the contempt of court sort of thing, which I think, in my personal opinion, unless someone has done truly something egregious in the courthouse, right? And that should be considered as contempt of court. But if you really think about it, contempt of court, unless you're lying and you're caught being lying, and you're exposed for that, unless there's something that has drastically happened, I think you should really do away with this whole notion of contempt of court, especially in regards to Tommy Robinson. He was thrown the charge of contempt of court because he was told not to release a documentary that's exposing the truth of the Muslim grooming gangs. And he decided to do it anyway. He said that he was going to go into prison. Now, the prison sentence for the so-called contempt of court, the 18 months, almost 2-year sentence in solitary confinement, no less, that the prosecutor and the judge agreed to do, that to me shows that Tommy Robinson is not just a regular prisoner. Tommy Robinson is indeed a political prisoner, and you can't persuade me otherwise. Everything that I have seen that has taken place over in the UK dictates to me that Tommy Robinson is in fact in prison, not for contempt of court, as much as many people would love to think that he is. I mean, think about it this way. You release a documentary as a journalist, you have no rights as a journalist, because that's what Tommy Robinson is. You share to the entire world, you expose to the entire world some corruption in some very high up places in politics, and guess what happens not long after that? The police knock at your door and say you're going to be arrested if you refuse to do X, Y, and Z. And you're going to be thrown in prison if you refuse to do X, Y, and Z. Because you know what happens when you expose the truth? People don't like it. And I keep seeing individuals like Nigel Farage and Piers Morgan that constantly go at Tommy Robinson. I'm sick of it. Like, I have not heard him say anything that I find to be Islamophobic, I find to be offensive, I find to be wrong. But it's because all these people are rather, in my personal opinion, seemingly lying. Why are they lying? They're not telling the truth, even though we've got Tommy Robinson on tape saying the truth, but they keep lying and trying to point out that, oh, it's truly contempt of court. I mean, Nigel Farage, please wake the hell up, mate. Same with Piers Morgan. You can't be that ignorant or that stupid to look at this and go, oh, I hate what Tommy's done so much that it's just contempt of court. Now, I've been seeing this just go absolutely crazy over on X at the moment. Elon Musk. If Elon Musk is going that Tommy is a political prisoner, why can't Piers agree? And here's a tweet for you all. Elon replies to Piers Morgan and goes, I agree that there needs to be consequences for contempt of court, but extremely long periods of solitary confinement, which is normally reserved for serial killers, danger to other inmates, dangerous, circumstance. And Piers actually surprised me here. He agreed. He knows that the treatment that is being afforded to Tommy at the moment, even though sometimes I think Piers thinks that it's his own fault, what Piers is saying is not helping. What Piers should realize is that Keir Starmer's government is so corrupt, and all of the other politicians, and it seems to me that if you're going against the truth, even though the groomer gang scandal, Tommy wasn't the first to expose it, we know that, granted, but his voice was crucial in what took place. He's a working class man from Luton. Why do you think so many people in the UK love him? Why? It's only the people in the mainstream media, which Piers Morgan is a part of. Nigel Farage was, and now he's a politician. Politicians hate his guts. Why is that? Because he stands for something that they don't stand for themselves: integrity and what's right. And that's what they cannot stand. And if they are exposed for the corrupt individuals that they actually are, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to throw him away. They're trying to silence him, but you can't keep it going for so long. And even Elon Musk is going, nah. He's a very smart individual, the richest man in the world, and very intelligent, and he's getting involved. Avi Yemeni goes, Nigel Farage has spent more time lately publicly attacking Tommy Robinson, who can't defend himself from solitary confinement, than targeting Keir Starmer, who's free to destroy the UK. Let that sink in. Avi's right. Nigel is being a coward. That's another video that I'll be making today for you all. Ian Miles Chong, who's got his own dramas at the moment. It's another story for another time. I couldn't be bothered talking about it. Anyway, the UK needs regime change. They do. They need the king to dissolve the government and them to restart it. They have the power. The king has the power to do that, but I don't think he will. Elon Musk goes, the people of Britain do not want this government at all. They want new elections. Even though the only reason why Keir Starmer won was because the Tories did such a terrible job. And here's Tommy Robinson, an admin post. Tommy Robinson has spent 68 days in total isolation, sentenced to 547 away from his kids. His crime? As the legacy media and politicians pushed the narrative he investigated and released that evidence they wanted kept buried. We know the truth. You can't hide the truth. As Douglas Murray, who I think needs to create his own party, not to join Reform UK, because that is just as corrupt. That's just like, for me, it looks as if Reform UK initially, like I said in the video yesterday, it looked like a good thing. I happen to like some of the things that Nigel says. I don't agree with everything that he says, but there's a lot of stuff that I did agree with him on. But now I'm saying, if you're going after a middle-class man, sure, not all of his tactics are great, but if you're going after him and you're throwing him under the bus constantly, and you're not letting Tommy defend himself, even though there's ample evidence to show that Tommy's not in the wrong here. In fact, Nigel is. Nigel, mate, you need to wake up. You need to wake up, stop attacking Tommy, who can't defend himself. You need to go after the real problem here, which is Labor. You know why he's not doing that? Because the Reform Party and Nigel Farage are just like Labor, just hidden, in my opinion. That's what it seems like to me. All politicians are damn well the same. They're politicians. They lie for a living. Same with people in the mainstream media. You can't really trust them. So if only Nigel Farage had half the courage of Tommy Robinson, then I'd have more faith in Reform UK, making Britain great again. But sadly, at this point, Nigel isn't any better than the Tories. Like I said, the Tories aren't better, really, than Labor. They're both just as bad as each other. They're both equally great at covering things up. It's very similar to what's happening here in Australia. The Labor government and the Liberal government, they're both working together. Same means. They're all just as bad as each other. They're all stupid. So anyway, Avi Yemeni goes, Elon Musk responds to Nigel Farage arrogance offer to educate the billionaire on Tommy Robinson at the Trump inauguration later this month, which is another video. I'll get to that. In short, shut the F up, Farage. That's what Elon Musk essentially says here. I know he's in prison for contempt of court. FFS. Can't say what that means on here, but anyway. But there is no justification for such a long prison sentence or for solitary confinement. Absolutely not. Elon Musk goes, once again, free Tommy Robinson now. And Elon goes, Jimmy Savile, longtime BBC employee, R-worded over 400 children were being paid millions by the BBC. The BBC shielded one of Britain's worst P-words, Jimmy Savile. Look at Jimmy Savile. Far out. He just looks like an actual P-word, if you ask me. So if you got Elon Musk slamming and essentially telling Nigel Farage to F off and actually start focusing on the real problems here, you got, there's good momentum in that, if you ask me. So hopefully things start changing over in the UK. But until such time as it does, we'll just keep spreading the word, eh? We'll just keep doing the right thing. And until such time as Nigel Farage wakes the hell up and realizes that he's losing supporters the more times he attacks Tommy Robinson, because Tommy has more supporters than Nigel, that's for sure, then I think Nigel's going to get a rude shock at the next election. Just saying. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.